Today we are doing lesson 4.19, module 4, lesson 19. Our learning goal today is to be able to use what we know about multiplying fractions and decimals to convert measurements and also use that conversion to solve multi-step word problems. Okay, but first let's talk about the problem of the day. Now I've noticed a lot of you are writing number 1, what the problem's asking, and number 2, the important information. And then you're stopping there. You're looking at, and then you wrote number 3, and then you just left it blank. And you're just waiting for time to pass for us to talk about it. Now, is it true that we talk about the problem of the day every day together? Yeah. But if you wait just to copy down the things we talk about together in class, are you challenging yourself? Are you testing yourself to see if you know how to solve these problems? No. The problem of the day always addresses math that we've already learned how to do. So every single person in this room, if you've completed your homework, your problem sets, and your exit tickets each day, which all of you do, you know how to do this. If you just sit there and say, I can't do this, I'll just wait, are you using your growth mindset? No. And if you don't use your growth mindset, will you improve and learn? No. So I would like to please stop seeing that happen in this classroom. Okay? Thank you. From doing this, we can see that when we're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, we multiply. And when we go from a smaller size unit to a larger unit, we divide. Why is that? Well, if I have 1 yard, is that going to be more or less than 1 foot? More, so I have to multiply. But if I have 12 inches, or is that going to be more or less than 12 feet? If I have 12 inches, could I also have 12 feet? No, it's going to be less. So if the number is getting smaller, am I going to multiply or divide? Okay, so that's something very important. I want everyone to write that down. That's going to help you as we begin today's math lesson. Speaking of today's math lesson, let's start by writing down 30 centimeters equals blank meters. Remember, today our learning goal is to be able to convert measurements. Are these measurements that we need to convert? You bet. Okay, once we have 30 centimeters equals blank meters, we can know we need to find out how many meters there are in 30 centimeters. Let's first think to ourselves, which one's larger, centimeters or meters? Meters. So if meters are bigger than centimeters, are we going from smaller to large or larger to small? Yeah, we're going from smaller to larger, aren't we? So is the answer going to be bigger or smaller than 30? If we have 30 centimeters, could we have 30 meters? Will we have less than 30 meters? Yeah. And how many centimeters are there in 1 meter? 100. So if I only have 30 centimeters, is my answer going to be bigger or less than 1? Less, because it's going to take at least 100 centimeters to make my answer 1. So do I have 100 centimeters? No, I only have 30. So my answer is going to be less than 1. Why is it good to think about these things before we actually start solving a math problem? Why is it good to think about that? Lakshan?
Because you know what your answer is going to be, like, it's not going to be above 1. If you get above 1, that means you know it's wrong.
Exactly. It helps us figure out if our answer is reasonable or not. If I get an answer that's bigger than 1, is there any way I'm right? No, but if I didn't think about these thought bubbles first, will I know that I have to be wrong? No. Okay, so it's important to think about that. Okay, so in order to actually solve it, we're going to use our familiar format here. We're going to say that 30 centimeters is equal to 30 copies of 1 centimeter. Do you guys agree? And you'll notice that the 1 centimeter is inside parentheses because we're going to write things that are equivalent in parentheses. Okay? So first start by writing this first slide. 30 centimeters equals 30 times 1 centimeter. Underneath that, we can write that's equal to 30 times, if I want to express 1 centimeter in terms of meters, what fraction, if this is 1 meter, if I want to split this into centimeters, how many equal spaces do I need to divide it into? Everyone? 100. Okay, so let's pretend I have 100 of those. Then 1 section is what fraction of the whole? 1/100th. So 1 centimeter is equivalent to how many meters? 1/100th or 100th of a meter. So your second line should say equals 30 times, in parentheses, because remember we're keeping everything that's equivalent in parentheses. Is 1/100th of a meter equivalent to 1 centimeter? That's why they're both in parentheses. Does that make sense? Then we're ready to multiply. Can we do 30 times 1/100th? That equals to 30 over 100, which equals to 3/10, and my unit is still a meter. So that I can fill in this sentence by saying that 3 centimeters is the same as 3/10 of a meter. Let's check in with our thought bubbles. Does it make sense that our answer is 3/10?
Yeah.
We said it had to be less than 1. Is 3/10 less than 1?
Yes.
That makes sense. So I can put a check confidently knowing that my answer is probably reasonable. Go ahead and write 9 inches equals blank foot. Or feet, I don't know. Before we start solving, let's figure out, are we going from a larger unit to a smaller unit or a smaller unit to a larger unit? Think about how inches compares to feet. Which one's bigger, which one's smaller? Inches are smaller than feet, aren't they? So we're going from smaller to larger or larger to smaller? We're going from smaller to larger this time. Again, same as before. Okay, so how many inches are there in 1 foot? 12. So will I even have 1 foot? So is my answer going to be larger or greater than 1? I mean, less than or greater than 1? Less than. Okay, that's good for me to remember. I know that it should be less than 1. Okay, now let's go ahead and start writing our conversions. We write 9 inches equals 9 copies of, in parentheses, how many inches? 1 inch. Very good. Okay, now I'm going to convert that. I want it to be 9 copies of some number of feet. 1 inch expressed in feet is, 1 inch is what fraction of a foot? It's 1 section out of how many sections in 1 foot? 12. So it's equal to 1/12 of a foot. So then we can do, this is equal to 9 times 1 over 12 feet. Yes? So that equals to 9/12 of a foot. Can we simplify that? That equals 3/4 of a foot. So we can write that as our answer. 9 inches is 3/4 of a foot. Let's just check in with our estimate. Is it actually less than 1? Is our answer reasonable? Yeah, nice. Okay, now let's write 15 inches equals blank feet. Are we ready to solve or do we need to do something first?
Thinking.
We need to think or estimate. Good. Are we going from a larger unit to a smaller unit or a smaller unit to a larger unit? Okay, we're going small unit to a larger unit. So do you think our answer will be more or less than 15?
More.
If we have 15 inches, can we have 15 feet? Or are we going to have more or less than 15 feet? Way less, right? But let's also think, is our answer going to be less than or greater than 1?
Greater. Because there's.
How do you guys know it's going to be greater? Jimbuk?
1 feet and 1 foot is 12 inches, but then there's 15 inches.
Yeah, so I have at least 1 foot. I don't know exactly how much more. Well, I have 3 inches more than 1 foot, so it's going to be more than 1, okay? So let's go ahead and write our conversion. This time we have 15 inches equals to 15 copies of what? 1 inch. Do I want my final answer in inches? No, I want my final answer in feet. So now I have to write equals 15 copies of 1 inch is how many feet? 1/12 of a foot. Very good. So now I can multiply. That equals 15 times 1 over 12 feet, otherwise known as 15 over 12 feet. Can I simplify that? Yeah. That equals to 1 and 3/12 of a foot. Can I simplify that? That equals to 1 and 1/4 feet. Now let's check in with our estimate. We were expecting our answer to be greater than 1. Is 1 and 1/4 greater than 1? Very good. I know my answer is reasonable.